When it comes to downsizing a senior family member, it can be hard, especially if you don't know how or where to go to get resources. And that's where the Parent Projects comes in. And Tony Siebers with us is telling us, Tony, that when I say downsizing, people have to listen to what we're saying, and that is taking mom and dad into a smaller lifestyle, into a smaller home, and knowing those resources do that. So that's what we mean by downsizing, and that's what you guys do.
Yeah, ideally. So Parent Projects helps the family members get themselves organized, communicate with each other, figure out what's got to be done, the order to get those things done, and then who can help them get that done.
Yeah, Tony, the biggest problem is having the talk, and that's where you guys come in to help people with those questions, with those answers that might be hard to have with your parent or even with family members.
I know. I mean, it's difficult for us to have a talk. Nobody wants to talk about getting older, and we certainly don't want to talk about our parents getting older. You get a difficulty of leaving the house. You saw your best version of your parents for 18 years. You left the house for 40, and now you have to step back in and start making decisions on their behalf. That's a scary thing. So Parent Projects was a project that we put together to help family members understand, what can I talk about? How do I approach this? Where do I come from? So it's not necessarily a counseling thing, but a lot of times it's just being with other people that have been through that situation recently that want to make the most of it, and they're there to lend a helping hand to you.
Yeah. I think one of the talks that's hard to do, and that is moving mom and dad into a assisted care living facility. Let's talk a little about that, how you guide people, because you're going to get bombarded from different people, this one, that one, this one, that one. So that's something that you guys sit down and work with people, right?
Yeah, I mean, some of the solutions up till now have been you went online, you put your name into a particular system, your name gets shotgun blasted out to all those systems, you're being inundated. Just thinking about that move in the first place becomes overwhelming. You may be choosing between, let's say you got it down to 4 or 5 places that make sense. Think about all the other additional services that have to pile on top of that, from fixing up the house before it sells to taking care of the dog, mobile dog grooming, who's going to handle the new dentist, where are these things going to happen. You're talking of dozens and dozens of vendors that are going to have to be involved in this move at some time and place. So you have to you have to work through a lot of people.
Yeah. One thing I think people have to understand, it's not a death sentence when you're downsizing your family member. It's actually helping them because it takes the strain off of you a little bit.
Completely. A lot of people in the industry will actually call it, they prefer right sizing, because downsizing really in the employment, right? That's kind of been, it's got a negative connotation. I just try to speak plainly. Most people know what that is. It's getting into a household that you can take care of. If mom and dad don't need to take care of a 20,000-gallon pool anymore, there's a time where those things become more of a problem for them and more of a safety risk than and weighs on their mind more than it's the value it provides.
And we know out here in Arizona, a lot of people have those big houses. They like the family gatherings and stuff. But to be honest, like, it's only once a year. So mom and dad are living in this big house, probably just in one little area. And they're wondering why all their bills are stacking up, because they're taking care of this, and this will help them.
Right. Well, and the people around them now are young families. In order to keep those schools filled, we want that churn to happen in our community. So the young families are next door instead of the friends that they used to hang out with, and they start getting isolated. And they need to be connected. And that's an important part, especially with Parent Projects Connect, of just connecting everybody back into the project.
Okay, someone watching at home right now, what's 2 quick tips you can give them to help them resize the family, and also come see you guys?
Yeah, so the first would be, don't be afraid to talk about it. And maybe you're not ready to go engage mom and dad about it, but talk with your friends. Somebody else has dealt with this. We always feel like it's the first time, but there's somebody else there that understands what's going on. The second thing is, when you're preparing for that talk, know that if you've got siblings involved, even though they were raised in the same household with you, they've had 40 years of experience someplace else, and things are going to mean something different for them. A house, an item, a photograph could mean something different for them. So give some space for that, and prepare for that up front. Use conversation to drop the emotion.
There it is right there. And it's also great if you do live out of state and the family lives like my mother does, and something to go look at and do. So Tony, thank you very much for coming. And tell people where they can find out more about the Parent Projects.
They can find us at parentprojects.com or any of your favorite social media at Parent Projects and our YouTube channel.
Perfect, Tony. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate this.